ready to get this started?
Yeah, let's get it started.
All right, let's do it. Bea Porges, thank you for joining me for an episode of On That Note. Today, I'm excited to have you the day before your next release, right?
Yes. Thank you for
Stateside.
having me. Stateside. It's super exciting. Yeah.
So everybody listening now can go listen to it. But right now, in this moment as we talk, not everybody's heard it, but I have.
You have.
And I feel very special for that.
Yes, and I accidentally sent you the wrong
An extra
song.
one. Yeah, which was even better.
Yeah.
So we're getting a whole EP.
Yes.
That's awesome.
EP coming in June.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So Stateside, let's talk about the writing, the recording process of it.
Yeah.
I know you've been interning with Patrick, so you've gotten a lot of insight when it comes to recording techniques and all that, production.
Right.
So what was the writing, the recording process behind this one? Why did this feel like it had to be the second single and All Day Long had to be number one?
Oh, such good questions. Well, first, I wrote it last summer. And what's funny is that, I mean, as you know, it's like every time you write a song, it's different. Sometimes lyrics come first, sometimes melody comes first, sometimes it comes all at once, sometimes it comes in pieces. This is a song that came totally in pieces. Like I had the music first, which is pretty rare for me. Usually I'm lyrics first and I'll have just like a note full of lyrics, you know, kind of like poetry. And I'll have to kind of find a melody to put it to.
Yeah.
I had music first and I had especially the ending of the chorus, you know, that tag where it says, and it don't have to mean anything. I had that, but I was like, I don't know what goes before it. Like, I don't have a chorus for this song. And I think I went through like 4 different choruses that I didn't like. It's like,
nice.
This is, can I swear?
Yes.
Okay. I was
100%.
like, this is shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, eventually I just like kept it simple and yeah. And I write a lot about my own experiences in my own life. And again, this Stateside was kind of a funny experience in that, I didn't feel particularly attached to it in any way. I was kind of writing a story that wasn't necessarily mine. And one funny thing that I find about my own writing is even if I'm writing and it doesn't feel true to me in the moment, it can sometimes be a little prophetic in a way where later I'm like,
the self-fulfilling prophecy.
I'm like, oh, I guess I kind of relate to this, or I have found myself in this situation and I can relate to my own song that I wrote not knowing that this was going to happen. That's one of those. But I wrote it and I went in with Patrick last August before I was even interning for him. I needed like my NBUS internship credit, and I was already working with him so closely that I was like, hey, you need an intern? And luckily, I mean, he was like, I don't know what you do, but like,
sure,
come to the sessions, come hang out, come like run the Instagram, run Blue Room sessions. And we just kind of went for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how much of a hand did you have in the like maybe the engineering for your songs, or did you leave that stuff to Patrick?
I left that to Patrick.
Okay.
So I went in, I had 2 days blocked off with Patrick, and I brought my friends Calico from Atlanta. Yeah. And those guys are awesome. And
I need to get them on here.
Oh yeah.
That would be cool.
You totally do. They're great. But I mean, I have known them for a long time, and we've been playing my songs for a while, and they helped me put some arrangements together. So I went in and had 2 days blocked off with Patrick, and we recorded 5 songs in 2 days. I mean, just the music. Lyrics obviously were
still 5 songs in 2 days.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
So we were kind of just going like boom boom boom, back to back.
Did you have everything
back.
Pretty much written out, ready to go? Like you knew what you wanted.
Yeah, we went in like, this is the plan. I like drove home to Atlanta to go rehearse with them for a day, and I was like, we have to get in, we have to be efficient.
Yeah.
And you know, we got to know exactly what's going on when we get in there. So we can, you know, because I was sort of like, is 5 songs way too ambitious? you know?
In 2 days. It's pretty ambitious.
Yeah.
But you did it.
But I did it. And my mom, it was funny. My mom was encouraging me. She was like, just do 3. It's better to have 3 that you get like sounding perfect than 5 that you rushed and don't sound amazing.
Yeah. Not mom giving you music advice.
Oh, we can get into that. She gives me, she's, I don't come from a very musical family, but she has she has a lot of opinions. But I love her.
That's just how it's going to be.
That's just always how it's going to be.
You're like, your voice should be louder. I need to hear your voice more.
Know.
I get that one a lot from my mom.
Oh yeah. I got recently, you need to be more particular about your mix during sound check.
No way.
And I was like, you know that I don't hear what you're hearing.
Right.
Like my wedge is tailored to me. It's like
And then she's like, what's a wedge?
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, what is that?
That's awesome.
And so she's like, you need to be particular about it. And I was like, I'm telling you, like, I just have to trust that they're going to do their job and that it's going to sound good. Cause like, I don't know. I can't step off stage and I mean, you could, but then you wouldn't get my voice. So.
Yeah. You could have your mom like on a walkie-talkie.
Oh yeah.
From the audience.
Yeah.
Giving you notes.
She does. She's like, can I come for sound check? Like it's really sweet. It's super sweet.
Yeah.
She just wants to be a part of it all. She's like, can I come sell merch for you?
That's sweet.
Yeah. So
I've had my mom sling merch for me.
Oh yeah. My parents are like really into it.
It's the most I ever sold.
Yeah.
Like, do your thing.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it takes to get the Venmo. Like,
I know.
Let's make it happen.
I know. I'm like my parents sitting at the merch table. It's
adorable.
It's so sweet. I'm like, I love that you want to do this.
Yeah, it's very wholesome. Yeah. You know, I just realized I left my coffee on the other side of the room.
I know. I saw that. Yeah.
I was like, shit.
I saw that and I was like, oh, he doesn't have his coffee.
Okay, we're good to go. Maybe. There we go. But yeah, back to, we never talked about why you picked Sgt. Pepper's by the Beatles. I try to usually start with that because then we get lost in all the other conversations. Right. But yeah, let's talk about the Beatles just for a sec before we get back to Stateside. Why'd you pick maybe possibly the best album of all time? I
just love Sgt. Pepper's. I mean, like every Beatles album has a different special place for me. And like I told you right before we started recording, I almost chose Revolver. Mm-hmm. But it's funny. My sophomore year of high school, I was in AP World History, and our last final project for the whole year was just do a project on any major historical event. Yeah. And it was like write a research paper, build a model of something. So like people brought in like models of like the Parthenon, and we're writing about, like the Black Plague. And I wrote a 10-page paper about the Beatles, and I spent so much time on, I love it, on Sgt. Pepper's. Like I just spent so much time on this album because it was just so different at the time, and they totally just like flipped everything on its head. Yeah. And I love it. I can spend days talking about like the cultural significance of that. Because you're right, like, Black Plague, whatever, Parthenon, whatever, like, who cares? The Beatles changed the world. They changed pop music. They changed the way, like, marketing was done for bands. Yep. So I'm glad to hear that you also kind of geek out on just not only the Beatles, but, like, their impact. Yeah. And how you can trace everything back to them. Literally, everything back to them. I just saw a TikTok this morning. That's never a good sentence to start. Yeah. That's never a good way to start a sentence. But I did see a TikTok this morning of an old video of like a girl fangirling over the Beatles, and she was just like, Paul McCartney, just know that Rachel from Brooklyn loves you. And she was like, Ringo, you're fine too. Yeah, you're okay. And I was like, she was so real for that. At least she gave him a shout out. I know. That's so funny. I thought you were gonna be like, she said she found some new underground artist called the Beatles. You're like, you know what? Good for her. Whatever. I'm not going to gatekeep. No, they rock. Would you say that that's your favorite album, or it just happened to be the one that stood out today? I think it happened to be the one that stood out today. I mean, I think I've been listening, like we said, I've been listening a lot to Revolver lately. It's kind of my favorite right now. But
I think that's my favorite.
But there was just something in me that was like, you got to pick that one. Also,
Yeah.
you said no one's picked the same too.
Right.
And I was like, somebody's definitely picked Revolver.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you're right. Shout out to Christian Sparacchio.
Shout out Christian.
That is definitely my favorite. In my opinion, it's like the White Album condensed.
Yeah.
Like if they didn't have all the really strange tracks from the White Album, then it would be basically Revolver, you know, where every track is perfect. But yeah, back to Stateside.
Yeah.
So I know since you've been working with Patrick, you probably learned a lot, but with this song, were there any challenges you had to work around? I mean, 5 songs in 3 days is a lot. So I'm sure you had to maybe consolidate certain things, or I don't want to say compromise, but maybe like be like, look, we just got to get the take and move on. So what were some of the challenges going into creating this song and maybe just the EP in general?
I mean, the time constraint of the 2 days with Calico. Now, I, of course, went in and did vocals, and we did saxophone and pedal steel on different days. But luckily, we had rehearsed it and we were pretty tight going into the sessions that I didn't, honestly, like, I'm very grateful for this. I didn't feel like I had to compromise on much. And we did overdubs. Like we would, we recorded the song. We'd do like 5 takes as a whole band, or however many takes until we felt like we had a good one. And then we'd go in individually and overdub, and it would just be like me, Patrick, and whatever member of Calico was doing the overdubs. And we would just go in, and there were a few things that I wanted to be particular about, and a lot of them were those, that pedal steel sounding, and of course you get that from actual pedal steel.
Right.
But
hard to fake that one.
Right. But
did he have Canon?
I did.
Nice.
I did have Canon.
He's awesome.
Yeah, Canon's the best. But I had Sam Epstein, who plays guitar for Calico. He, took his pedals and he turned those knobs and did his thing. And he got kind of like an ambient pedal steel sound from his guitar. And we just did a few takes of him going through the song and in certain places, and a lot of it was, let's go overkill. Like do as much as you want. We'll cut it back.
Yeah. Like it's always easier to bring it back.
Exactly. So there was a lot of clipping around certain things, but honestly, I never felt like I had to compromise, because I was like, I'm spending my money recording this EP, and it's going to be, a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I want it to, it's like my first baby going out into the world. Yeah. Yeah. And so I wanted it to be exactly, how I had envisioned, and luckily it turned out that way.
Right. So debut single All Day Long was a little bit more than a month ago.
Yeah.
How does it feel now knowing it's out? Because it can be such a weird feeling, like, especially if you've lived with the song for so long, and then it comes out and it's kind of surreal because you realize anybody who wants to can listen to it. You're like, oh, yeah, like now people can hear it, and now it's been a month. So what is that feeling like now?
Oh, I mean, that you said it. Like, it's so strange to live with the songs for so long by yourself, or with a small group of people, with my family and friends who have heard it live.
Right.
But God, it's been out for a month, and I've just received so much love on it. I feel very grateful that people like it, and I felt like it had to be the first single just because it had kind of just that indie kind of poppy feel that not all of the songs had. I mean, all the songs have kind of a similar vibe to it, but I also felt like I felt like All Day Long was the most accessible, and I thought lyrically there were a lot of, interesting things going on, and some pretty consistent metaphors throughout the whole song. And I always say right before I sing that song, I go, this song's about having a big crush on a big stoner. And it always gets a laugh. And then I start singing, and I think people kind of catch on to it. And I think that's, I don't know, maybe that's what people grasp onto, is like, it's a simple chorus all day long. I think about loving all day long. He thinks about nothing. And it's kind of silly when you first listen to it. But it's this kind of like indie groove over these lyrics that are, you know, about feelings that are kind of hard to deal with in the moment. But it's also kind of silly. It's such a fun song. It's such a fun song. It's kind of silly. I have that like one half man, one half tobacco.
Yeah, that line always gets me. That's funny.
That's always the one people point out first. They're like, "Oh, what's that song with the man tobacco?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that one."
That is the one that really sticks out. I wouldn't have thought it was necessarily about being in love with a stoner until that line.
Yeah.
And it's cool to have one line jump out that people can be like, oh, they sink their teeth into that.
Yeah.
And then it gets them into like the meaning of the rest of the song, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was totally the point. And it's like you have that first line where I say picking up gas with a gas station lighter. Mm-hmm. And I've gotten a lot of questions about it, especially from my family or people that don't understand kind of slang.
They're like, what are you doing?
Terminology. They're like, how do you pick up gasoline? And I'm like, it's weed. It's like you're not picking up, you know, it's like, you know, and then you kind of get further into the song and you're coughing up all the secondhand smoke. He's one half man, one half tobacco, ashtray in the cabinet.
Like, I'm starting to think this is about weed all of a sudden.
Like I have a hunch about this song. Yeah. And kind of the further you get into it, you know, the more those metaphors are, you know, they're consistent throughout the whole thing. And I was very intentional about that.
But it's also not in your face immediately. Kind of is nice to go back through a song and notice things you didn't notice the first time. Mm-hmm. Kind of like a movie, like a crazy movie. Like takes 2 or 3 watches to really understand maybe the whole thing that's going on. Right.
But I mean, having it out for a month, it feels so good. It's like, I finally get to share this with people. I've been waiting on it for so long. People have been asking for so long. When is music coming out? When's all of that happening? And I'm like, soon.
Yeah,
soon.
The first one is the hardest step.
First one is always the hardest. And I sat on it for a while. I mean, we recorded these songs in August and I had All Day Long mixed by, you know, the end of September and didn't get released until March. So it's kind of like, oh, what were you waiting for?
Yeah.
But it just wasn't. I just didn't feel it in my bones that it was right, you know?
What changed?
I think having all the songs mixed, I was like, I don't want to put one out and have the rest kind of up in
limbo.
The air. Yeah, exactly. So I kind of wanted all of them as a body of work. I wanted to be able to listen to all of them back to back to back and go, okay, these are all consistent. These all feel good. Now it's time, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it till I felt ready. And
how did you know that it was like, all right, we're putting this on TuneCore or DistroKid or whatever?
Yeah. God, I mean, I think at some point I was just tired of sitting on it. I was like, you want to know what? It's got to be time.
Let's do it.
It's got to be time. I got a few great gig opportunities where I was like, you know what? Yeah, I know I'm playing Athfest, which I'm very excited about. Shout out Athfest.
Which stage? What day?
I'm playing the whole stage, the second outdoor stage on Friday night.
Nice.
Around like 5:30, I think.
Sweet.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Shout out to Drew. He's the man.
Yes. Shout out Drew. We love Drew.
We do.
And again, speaking of Drew, we have the Terminal West, Athens, and Atlanta
showcase. Yeah, I wrote about that. I wanted to ask you about that. How you got that opportunity. Like, are you, I know obviously you're looking forward to it, but what are your thoughts going into that?
Yeah.
June 17th. I think you go on your first.
June 17th.
So 7 o'clock.
7 p.m.
Terminal West, Atlanta, Georgia. My favorite venue.
I love
that and Tabernacle.
Yep.
Top two.
The Eastern's pretty good too. I just went to the Eastern for the first time.
Everyone says that's their favorite and I haven't been yet.
It's still not my favorite, but it is a great venue. I don't think I've seen enough shows there.
Right.
I have an attachment to the Tabernacle.
Totally.
And to Terminal West, just growing up in Atlanta and always going to shows there.
Yeah. Also the vibe at Tabernacle is immaculate.
It's great.
Going into an old church.
It's great. It looks, you walk in and like you see the mezzanine and it's got, that design on it. That's like the stupidest way to describe it.
Design.
That it's got that design. That,
you know the one.
You know the one that churches have.
Right.
But yes, I love those two.
Yeah.
Those two. What were we going on about? We got
Athens and Atlanta.
Yes, Athens and Atlanta.
You're playing first, right?
I'm playing first, and I wanted to be releasing the EP at a proper time, you know, to promote it with those two shows, with Athens and Atlanta and Athfest. So I was like, okay, if I want the EP to come out early June, I have to have like a single in March, a single in April, and then, you know, use May to promote, or, you know, late April, early May, and have May to promote, and then do these two drop the EP, do these two gigs, and really have like a good, you know, promotional lineup,
right,
so to speak. I'm so excited. Drew reached out to me. Excuse me. I'm super excited about the show. Drew reached out to me. He just DM'd me one day on Instagram, and he was like, "Hey, I'm putting together this pre-Athfest show, this promotional,
Shindig.
yeah, and like we're getting a few different bands together, and I want you to be a part of it." And I, without hesitating, was
all
like,
caps,
absolutely, yes, I'm in. I've been going to Terminal West.
Yeah, that's huge.
I mean, I grew up in Midtown Atlanta. I've been going to Terminal West since, you know, I was in high school or even younger, playing that venue. I mean, and I sang with Underground Springhouse.
Yeah, that's right.
At Terminal West twice. And
oh, wow.
That to me was huge. I was like, holy shit, I'm singing on this stage. Yeah. And even though I'm not singing my songs, I don't care.
Still, you're up there.
I'm still up there, and this, you know, being like backstage, and a backstage, I, you know, always was like, I wonder what that looks like. You know, I wonder what that green room looks like. It's like a skinny room, and you got like two couches on on each side, and then there's a fridge, and there's like this magnet board with all these photos and a guest book where you can sign.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, and they're really nice there. I mean, I wouldn't expect them to not be nice.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is a pleasant surprise when, you know.
You never know. Sound guys can be very intimidating.
They can be very intimidating. That's one thing I've had to get over, is like my fear of, you know,
sound guys,
of like the older sound guys that know more than me about what I'm doing. And, you know, they talk to me and they ask me questions I don't know the answers to.
Just like smile. You're like, yeah,
and I'm like,
totally.
Yeah, totally. Thank you.
I'm just always like, sounds great, dude.
Yeah. I'm
Keep
like,
killing it.
If it sounds good to you, it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
My mom would say otherwise. But
yeah, clearly she's got very particular opinions.
Yes. But no, I'm beyond excited for that show. I mean, I still am kind of in disbelief that I'm going to get to play Terminal West, like with my own songs and as, you know, under my name. And
it's such a smorgasbord of talent.
Oh yeah, I'm so
many different genres.
I am so honored to be
Athens.
to be sharing the stage with such great artists.
Yeah,
and it's like Pink Stones, Monsoon, Hefner, like
it's
80 Blanca.
Awesome.
It's gonna be so great. I'm so excited for it. And it's a Saturday in the summer.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
yeah,
like what more could you want? And the next week is Athfest. It's just gonna be a whirlwind.
I guess it is the next week. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it'll be kind of a whirlwind of a few weeks of like EP release, Terminal West, Athfest.
And then it's all going to be over. You're going to be like, what do I do now?
I know. And then I go, yeah, what the fuck am I going to do?
Studio again.
Exactly. That's the other plan for the summer.
Do you have any pre-show rituals or just anything you try to make sure that gets done before you go on stage?
You know, sometimes yes and sometimes no. It kind of depends on the show. Sometimes I'm just so nervous about a certain gig that I can't stop like walking around, like just pacing
yeah,
and going to say hi to different people. I mean, I try to keep my voice intact. So, and I try to warm up before shows. I really do, like warm up my voice, and it's kind of hard sometimes, especially at places like Flickr. It's like, if you want to go warm up, like go to your car. Go to your car.
Yeah.
But I try to, have my outfits picked out and get the hair and makeup situation, do it in the car or, do what you got to do. And then have a few sips of a drink. I really try to not drink during my shows or before because I get like drunk off of one beer. It's like so stupid.
Yeah.
But all
I
of a
made
sudden,
that
like,
mistake once, and now I never drink before the show now.
Yeah.
It's bad. It can be a really bad.
It can be really bad
when you're on stage. You're like, I am barely hanging.
You're
on
like,
right now.
you're like, I can't feel my fingers. I can't remember the words. I don't know if I'm singing on key.
Am I saying dumb things in between the songs?
I do that sober. I do that.
At least you're not slurring the dumb things.
Yeah. I know. And then like your eyelids get really heavy and you start closing your eyes while you sing and you're like, oh, I could just go to sleep right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really try to not drink before my shows.
So no pre-show shots.
Nope, no. That's after the show.
Yeah, there you go.
Going downtown. But yeah, I think I just try to keep calm, eat a little bit, not too big of a meal, but you can't go on stage,
Yeah, eating is tough in general to
Yeah.
make myself be like, yesterday I went 10 hours without eating. I'm like, dude, you have to eat something. You can't just survive on snacks.
Everyone, it's like you have to eat to live, but also you can't go on stage like full belly.
Yeah.
Just like.
I feel like maybe hour and a half before a decent meal is pretty good.
Mid-sized meal, hour and a half before the gig.
Yeah. A burger with don't get the side.
No fries.
No tots. Because I've done that at Clocked many times. You get the Cajun tots, it's over.
It's over for you. And then you're like burping into the mic on stage and you're like, this is awful.
Right.
But I mean, luckily my parents are so kind. They're like, let us take you and your band out to dinner before the show.
That's so sweet.
Which is so sweet. But I was like, okay. And they're like, they don't have to sing. They don't have microphones.
Yeah, it's a different
on stage.
Gig.
It's a different gig when you're the one having to talk and sing the whole time.
Be the front person.
So they take everyone out to dinner, and I'm kind of just snacking, just trying to keep level-headed. And I don't think I really get nervous until, I don't know, 10 minutes before. And I'm like,
when you step on stage, does it kind of go away or does it get worse?
No, it goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something about the anticipation that is much scarier to me than actually starting.
Yeah. Or if we have a song in the set that is new or maybe doesn't feel like it clicked 100% during band practice, I'll just kind of be waiting for that song in the set list.
And then once it's over, you're like, okay, now I can
really relax
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever are you ever on stage and then you just think to yourself, I haven't been thinking about what my face looks like this whole time. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, I need to smile and look around.
Right.
I've just been eyes on the back wall, just deadpan mean mugging, singing, just thinking about the words or thinking about something else. And then I'm like, I think I have looked dead this whole time,
And it's only something you're aware of.
Yeah.
Most people don't care, except maybe the photographer.
Yeah.
They're like, can we get something else maybe?
Emote.
But you learn that lesson, I guess, over time. You get those pictures back and you're like, oh.
I need to make faces sometimes.
Right.
Just a little smile or just a,
some of those guitar solo stank faces.
Yeah.
But at completely inappropriate times.
Yeah.
That make no sense.
I'm playing a G chord.
Right. I'm, a regular old G chord.
Yeah. And I'm just making the most stank face.
I would love, that would be great.
Yeah.
There's been a couple times where I try to purposefully be aware of my face, I guess, or what I'm doing. One song, I remember the Bouvet show I played after we got rained out at the rooftop. We have that in common. Hopefully you will be redeemed as well sometime soon.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Planning on it.
If you're listening to this May 5th, come out to my Redemption rooftop
5th.
Show.
Parker's
Cinco de Mayo.
Parker's Redemption show.
It's gonna be a blast.
It's not gonna rain.
It's not gonna rain, guys. it's not going to rain.
It's really not.
I apologized to Mother Nature for being really mean to her, but
yeah, you said some choice words.
I had some choice words. I was frustrated in the moment, and then some good friends said, "Hey, maybe don't press your luck here."
Yeah, maybe don't shit on Mother Nature.
Yeah, maybe not a great idea. You're not going to win ever.
Yeah.
So
you might just get rain
I wrote a notes
again.
app apology. I let her know I was sorry, and hopefully that's enough.
Yeah. Well, it's raining today, so
it is raining
clearly
today.
she hasn't heard you yet.
It's getting it. Maybe she's just getting it out of the way.
Yeah.
That's my thought. Just like I need to release the rain. I told him I wouldn't do Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
We'll do it today, which I'm cool with. This, we're homies now.
Yeah. It's cool.
But anyway, I feel like it is fun to play around with what feels right for you as stage presence.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last one I did, just for like half of a song, I didn't even like move where I was looking.
Right.
And part of it was at Bouvet, there's not a lot of room to move in general.
Yeah.
So it's like, let me just be completely still and look at one part of the room for half the song.
Yeah.
And it felt cool. I don't know if it looked insane. People might have been like, is he okay?
But you make a choice and
Yeah,
you commit.
and you stick with it, and maybe you don't do that kind of thing every time. But it is, stage presence is a weird one because there's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and I love all kinds of artists that are either completely still and motionless and seemingly emotionless.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people that are crazy,
Yeah.
and can't stop moving around the stage, screaming. What's your vibe? I mean, I'm guessing it's not like punk rock writhing on the floor, but
I kind of wish it was, honestly.
It looks fun.
Those are some of my favorite shows to watch.
Yeah.
But I mean, I try to find a happy medium between being, like more in motion on the stage and being still. And it just kind of depends on what song I'm playing. If I'm playing all day long, I'm bouncing.
Right.
I'm like looking at my band members. I'm like looking at people in the audience, and now people can sing the song back to me, which is
that's
crazy. Cool. That's crazy to me. It's like I was playing when the rooftop got rained out on whatever day, the 13th, April 13th, I was supposed to play. And we played at Cine. Shout out Cine. Thank you for saving the day.
Yes.
And Sean McLeod, who's my wonderful booking agent, who
nice.
Totally just like came in so clutch, just like went around all day he went to Nowhere Bar. He just like, he went so many different places to try to figure out where we could play. So I'm eternally.
Was it just you at Cine?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
that's cool that they were like, yeah, let's just get one person in here. Cause I feel like a lot of venues might be like, I don't know. Did you charge it? Was it free or was it?
It was still free.
Nice.
We were like, that's the one condition.
You kind of have to do that.
Yeah. Nowhere Bar wanted to do a $10 cover, and we were just like, no, it's promoted as a free show. It's going to stay free.
You can't like flip the switch on people like that.
Exactly. Especially going from like free to $10.
Yeah. It'd be one if it was $5.
Yeah. So luckily Cine totally pulled through.
That's awesome.
And it was so sweet. And we played. I forget where I was going with that. Stage presence. Yeah. Yeah. I literally can't remember why. I mean, Cine wasn't much different from any of my other shows.
Right.
Other than the fact that they have that like projector, and we had that. I found this like loop of, it's like living room but outer space.
Whoa.
And so there's like stars on the wall. It was really great. Garrett Cardoso took some wonderful photos.
Yeah, Garrett rocks. I love that guy.
Garrett's great. But no, I mean, I try to move around. Oh, Cines where people were singing all day long. That's why I was talking about that.
There it is. Yeah.
There, we made it. We made it back around to that.
Thankfully, it's a long podcast, so you can always come back to things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was like looking out in the crowd, and people were singing the song, and I was like, that's fucking wild that people know this now, more than like my family and my close friends and people that have heard the song live more than once. Like people can sing along to it live at shows, which is awesome. And sometimes I'm just super still during certain songs, though. I mean, like slower songs, I'm a little more pensive, thinking about my words. And I have this song, Madeline, that's kind of like a bit of a country song, and sometimes you just got to fuck around and write a country song. And
Yeah,
you're like, I
I
don't
get
know,
it.
I don't know where that came from, but here it is.
Throw on the cowboy boots.
And throw on the
Take
hat.
it for a ride.
We're just going to do it for 3.5 minutes and
Yeah.
just, go along with it. I tend to make a lot of faces during that one just because it's,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about like the country song that just makes me want to like make faces.
Yeah.
It's also telling a story, and sometimes I don't know, feel the need to act it out.
Nice.
Not really, but, I have this line where I think I say, my friends tell me, please don't make it bigger than it is, but she's got friends to tell her that I look like such a bitch.
Oh.
And I always kind of make a face during that. I'm like, yeah, well, so sometimes I'm kind of expressive with my face. But also I play the Gretsch, like the hollow body Gretsch. So it's just a lot to like move around.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when you have a mic stand right in front of you, you can't
Right.
just turn. So you kind of have to like waddle back
Yeah.
and then move around if you want to move anywhere.
Yeah, because it is a big guitar.
Yeah, it is a big guitar. Hurts my shoulders, honestly. I need to like build my upper body strength so that I can
Yeah.
play.
I have a bass that's like feels 50 pounds. And every time I'm like, God dang, dude, I need to go to a chiropractor or something.
I know. I like need to go to a massage therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did once, and she told me that I had like hella tendonitis in my hands.
I feel like I have it.
Yeah.
And I need to get it fixed.
Yeah.
What did she tell you?
Honestly,
you're fucked.
She kind of was just like, yeah, you got a lot of tendonitis, and she was just like, stretch and like warm up your
Does it
fingers
just
before you play.
feel for you like tension?
I
Do you feel anything at all?
I didn't feel anything at all. I'm like, I'm just
shit.
playing. And like, it was just a,
Yeah.
regular, I wasn't like, my hands are fucked up.
My hands. These hands.
Feel these hands. Tell me what's wrong with them. No, it was just like, my aunt's friend is a massage therapist, and she was like, do you want to go like get a massage? And I was like, hell yeah, I want to go get a massage.
Yeah. When is the answer no?
Yeah, exactly. So she was just feeling around like my body.
I loved watching you think about like, do I say that?
Yeah, she's giving me a massage.
Right.
God, why are we talking about this? And she gets to my hands, and she's like, yeah, you have a lot of tendonitis in your hands. And I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
well,
She can feel that.
I play a lot of music. And she was like, yeah, that would do it. She like felt some other crazy things where she, she would just like, she felt my stomach, and she was like, your liver's like really like jammed up like into your like ribs kind of.
Whoa.
And I was like, I don't know how you felt that, but
Yeah.
you're so
You're like,
good.
what does that mean?
I know. I was like, how do I fix that? And
It would be like me talking to the sound guy and just be like, yeah, dang,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
man, that's wild.
Except it's health consequences.
Yeah. I don't really know what the answer is. That was so long ago. The
Oh, okay.
tendonitis is probably really
Worse.
bad now because I don't do anything. I don't know. Maybe I should
go
start
somewhere.
warming
Yeah.
up my hands before I play, but
Yeah.
that probably won't happen.
I always tell like my students that I teach, I'm like, do this motion, stretch your fingers.
Yeah.
I never do that
I
shit.
never do
Why
that.
am I
Yeah.
telling them that?
Why would you? Yeah. Now I'm like, oh, is that a good stretch?
I have
You
no
did
idea.
it. You did it, and now I have to try. But-
I don't know. You kind of feel it here, I guess. I don't think this is a real thing. I just lie to my
You're
students.
just lying
all
to the
time.
children.
All the time. Yeah. I told one of my students, he didn't know what basically this photo, right, of the Beatles in their
Right.
Sgt. Pepper's uniform. And I guess they put a poster in my room of them in that uniform. And he didn't know who they were, so I told him they were Imagine Dragons. And he believes me. And to this day, I think he thinks that. He was
Yeah.
a little skeptical, and I was like, nah, it is.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's
it's-
all it took was just like an extra push. And he was like, oh, they look weird.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, their Imagine Dragons are weird.
They're weird dudes. It's funny how kids will like their minds will just do anything. I was babysitting once, and this brother and sister, and one of them was like, how old are you? And I was like, well, how old do you think I am? At the time I was 19.
I love asking that.
At the time I was 19. And the little girl, she goes, 32.
Oh,
And
damn, she got specific.
I know. And I was like, youch, okay. And then the boy goes, no. And I was like, okay, at least one of them has common sense. And he goes, 29.
Oh, okay,
and I was like,
okay. I thought you were going to say you said older.
If you said older,
it's over.
I would have left the house. I would have just been like, fend for yourselves.
Y'all figure it out.
Y'all figure it out.
Damn.
I know.
Dude, kids are hilarious.
They say whatever they want to say.
They do say the darndest things. I never thought it was like I would teach kids ever. It's a lot easier when it's something you like music, and it's only 30 minutes at a time.
That's so easy.
And it's one-on-one. Soon as it's like 2 or 3, they gang up on you. And you can't, I don't know how any...
You can't win.
Teachers are angels, like real teachers. I don't feel like I'm a real teacher. Like a teacher in front of 20 kids that don't want to be at school for 6 hours.
Right.
How do you do that?
I don't know, dude. I could never. That's one of those things where it's like, I like kids, but not enough.
Yeah.
That same little boy that told me I was 29 years old, his mom wanted me to teach him guitar. And I was like, yeah, sure. And she was like, okay, so the only issue is it's a righty guitar. But
he's a lefty.
He's a lefty. So he's just flipped it like upside down, like the other
Kurt
way.
Cobain style.
And he's playing it the other way. And I was like, she was like, encourage him to play it the right way.
Yeah.
And she was like, he's not a lefty anytime else except for when he's playing the guitar. Like he just insists that this is how he wants to play. And so I was trying to kind of coerce him into like, oh, let's try it on this side. I'll teach you, I'll teach you a few chords. And he just refused. He
wasn't about it.
He wasn't about it. So then I was like, I don't know what, fuck it. You want to play the wrong way. I'll indulge you. And I was like, yeah, play this. And I just flipped the chords, upside down in my head,
which is nearly impossible,
which is stupid hard.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Teaching lefty, like a regular lefty guitar is so confusing to me.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, imagine it upside down and like backwards.
Right.
And trying to like figure out these chord shapes. I was like, oh yeah, put your fingers here. That's a D. And
you got to tell which fingers to go where.
Exactly. But then it's like, if it's upside down and backwards, I'm like, fuck it. Just do what you want.
Yeah.
Like, and then he'd be like, oh, let me play a song for you. I'd be like, oh, this is awesome. Show me what you got, kid. And he would, it was just nothing. It was just like slapping the guitar, and he would just sing along. And actually he really liked Imagine Dragons, funny enough.
Hell yeah.
And he'd be like, I have a dance routine. Let me show you. And it would just be
dude. Yes.
And like, I'd just be sitting there for 4 minutes while he danced to Believer by Imagine Dragons, like punching the air. And I'd be like, that was,
I love that.
Be like, that's awesome.
That's so funny.
We've strayed so far from actual
That's okay.
music.
I don't even remember what I asked, but yeah, kids rock. They're hilarious.
Yeah, they're great.
I do want to talk about one more thing before we go to the last 5, and that is specifically, what do you feel like you've learned throughout your whole internship with Patrick at Racquet Recording Studios? What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned that you are going to take with you into the next recording session or into the next area of your career?
Yeah. Well, so much of my time at Racquet was spent kind of just observing how Patrick works with other artists and how different sessions, how differently sessions can happen. And, I went in and I was watching Matt Knox do a session. I was watching the Regulars do a session. I was watching, Canon run a session where Clark Sound was playing keys, and Gideon Johnston was there, and we were all doing like some aux percussion. So there were just so many different things that can happen in that studio, and you kind of have to be open and receptive to all ideas that come your way. And Patrick is such a great listener to all of his artists, and I always felt like I was in the driver's seat with my music, and he had wonderful suggestions that we, ran with, and he knows way better than I do about, engineering and mixing and, all the technical things. But at the end of the day, I always had final say, and he might nudge me one way or the other, but he was just so great at listening to what people wanted and the vibes they were going for. And if something wasn't quite working, he would, he was able to just be like, okay, let's pause for today. Like, do you want to send me something that you feel like aligns with your vision? Or, do you want to just stop and think about it for a little bit? Or, do you feel like we need to redo this mix, or we can redo this if you want? He's just really receptive to everybody. And he's also just such a great hang. That's part of it too. It's just being, a fun time to be around. And, Patrick,
such a good quality
I know,
in a producer. If you can't be a good hang, the vibes are not going to be.
No, they're not going to be there.
Recorded well.
I know. So Patrick he's the best. I adore working with him. And, also his studio, it's a little home studio. It's just like,
right.
You've been in there.
Yeah.
So it's just super cozy, and it feels like homey, Yeah. And, I got to know his wonderful wife, Lexi, who, will just like hang out in the house. And they like invited me to stay for dinner one night, and Clark came over, and I was like, this is just so sweet. This is so nice. It's just being a good person, and being, like opening your studio,
right.
your house to others. And
I also love their dogs.
Oh, all the animals over there.
Is it Cypress?
Cypress
Looks like she's carved out of marble.
I know.
Cypress, it's the most beautiful dog I've ever
Shelby,
seen.
like the older
dog.
Yeah,
and Shelby's just a goofball.
I know. And we'll be doing Blue Room sessions, so I've assisted engineering on and that's where I'm, learning more hands-on technical things, and those are super fun to be a part of, because they're, it's kind of like you got to work quickly.
Right.
But, you have to be very, intentional with what you do. And so for Calico's Blue Room session, I was in the studio, running the board and just going over and having Patrick, teach me about his board and like how we, set it up. Cause he bought the board used and kind of fixed it back up from, not totally from scratch, but essentially. And, he's put so much time into that beautiful board, and him teaching me how to use it was really cool. And just being able to be a part of those sessions where once they're done, everyone's like, all right, good job, everyone. That was awesome.
Those Blue Room sessions always look really nice, sound really nice. Are you the one behind the board while they are actually filming?
Yeah.
So you're in the studio.
Yeah.
So how do you communicate? Over the phone?
There's a talkback mic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Everyone, and it's always really funny because, Calico and I are such good friends that we would just sort of like joke over the talkback mic and we'd be like, okay, it's time to actually get to work.
Yeah, let's get a good take this time, guys.
Yeah. And but they're so much fun. I love doing those sessions. And Patrick will trade me for studio time.
Oh, there
which
you
is
go.
Always
invaluable.
It is so invaluable. So I love doing all those, and working with Patrick. I'll always want to work with Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the man.
Yes.
He's awesome.
We love Patrick.
And one more question, actually. While we got the train coming through, if you can hear it, sorry about that. But I know it's kind of a big question, but maybe in the next 6 months to a year, where would you like to see yourself? What areas of maybe either songwriting or production, recording, would you like to see yourself really like delve into, like a place that you probably haven't gone yet?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I mean, with this EP that I recorded, we went in, with everything pretty much planned out how it was going to go. And of course we went in with pedal steel, and we did, vocals another day, and we did saxophone another day. But with the band, we went in knowing exactly what we were going to do. We had a game plan, and I would like to try going in with an idea, like a fully fleshed out song written, but maybe all the parts are still kind of the arrangements up in the air, and I can take the song to Patrick and we can sort of build it together.
Yeah.
Cause I didn't really know Patrick all that well. I hit him up and I had heard great things about him, and I sent him some, like rehearsal recordings from a basement. that you could probably barely hear. And I was like, this is what I want to record.
But with a full band.
With a full band.
So all the parts were set in stone for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, I know what I want to do. I want to come in and record these songs the way I'm sending them to you. I have arrangements for everything. So, and we met at World Famous and just talked about the songs for a little bit. And we were kind of like, okay, we want to do this. And we just rolled with it. But now that I know Patrick and, we have a friendship and I'm comfortable in his studio, I would love to go back in without a game plan and
kind of just trusting
and like going in with a vibe and trying new things and, trying. I sent him this EP. Do you know Kate Bollinger?
Yeah. Oh, you sent me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I sent you some of her stuff. I sent her EP to Patrick and I was like, I love the drum tones on this. Like whatever we do next, like I want these drum tones on it, So picking out certain elements of music that I haven't explored before, like, different tones and,
right.
different, I don't know, just different shit. Just going in without a game plan and trusting the process as I'm in there and working with Patrick to build something kind of more from scratch would be really fun. And I mean, also working with, other producers and other studios and, getting to know as many people as possible. Like I'd love to work with Tommy and,
he's right over there.
Well, hey Tommy.
On the other side of this wall.
On the other side of the wall. And yeah, just like really having my next project be really collaborative with a lot of people in Athens and in Atlanta.
That's collaborative is the way to go. I've learned. I used to always do it just by myself like years ago. And then every time I added another person or another producer, whoever, I realized it got better. Yeah. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, let's just get everybody doing everything.
I know. Like this EP is such a, it's me and Patrick and it's us kind of working together and it's really our project. And I feel that he is, as much in it with me as, he's in it as much as I am. And I mean, I have, probably, outside of this EP, I think I have 15 or 16 songs that I'm sitting on that I'm like, okay, I think I want these, whether I use all of them or, just like 10 of them, like this is going to be the next project. And, whether it's an album or it's another like extended EP, whatever it is. I want to work with a lot more people and, just try new sounds, try new things. Yeah. Explore.
It's not fun to like sit in one place.
Yeah.
You want to try new things.
Yeah. And my writing is always evolving with everything that I do. The songs that I wrote for this EP that's coming out, they're different than the songs that I'm writing today.
Which feels so weird.
Feels so weird, but it feels so good. Yeah. You're just like, oh, this is different. And I'll call my mom, who always has a lot to say. She's like the first.
We love our moms.
She's like the first person to hear all of my songs. Like my mom and my sister are typically
the test audience.
The test audience. And I can always tell when they like something.
Yeah.
And when they, love something. Because they'll be like, oh my God, that's so good. My mom will be like, take a voice memo and then send it to me. And I'll listen to it on my walk. And my sister will be like, oh my God, I love that. Can you just play it again? And then when they just like something, they'll be like, that was good.
Right. You're like, hey, good job.
Yeah. They're like, that's a new one, right?
That's a new one.
Yeah. I'll be like, yeah, it's new. I have a very supportive family though. I'm very lucky that they love my music.
Yeah.
Or at least like it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it would suck if they didn't, and that happens all the time.
I'm sure it does.
We're very lucky in that way. But cool. Let's take it to the last 5 where I'm just going to ask you 5 quick questions.
Yeah.
We'll be done. I've switched over to using this bowl full of questions.
All right.
Instead of asking the same 5 every time. So I'll let you go ahead and pick one at a time.
Ooh, underrated artist at the moment. All right. The best album that I have discovered this year, it was made in 2020, but I just found out about it this year, is Bella White's Just Like Leaving. It's a bluegrass album.
Okay.
A lot of mandolin, a lot of fiddle. Bella White is incredible. She's
Okay.
fantastic. I can't tell you how many people I have sent that album to this
I'm gonna
year.
look it up right now.
And it's a home run every time. Also Kate Bollinger.
Yes.
Which I just found out that's how you pronounce her last name. I saw her live.
I thought it was Bollinger.
I thought it was Bollinger, and then I saw her live at the Eastern, and she said Bollinger.
Oh,
and I was
there
like,
you go.
oh shit, I've been saying it wrong.
Damn,
this
she
whole
played
time.
at the Eastern?
She opened up for tennis.
Oh.
And she was the
yeah.
reason I went to that show. I was like, I don't really know much about tennis,
Really?
but I love Kate Bollinger.
I like the album cover for the Bella White
Oh, it's great.
album.
Just Like Leaving is a fantastic album. Every song's a home run. She's absolutely underrated.
So sick. Yeah. She's got really cool album covers.
She just released her newest album last Friday.
Oh, what do you think?
I don't like it as much as Just Like Leaving, but it is great. It's a little bit more of a modern country style rather than kind of that traditional bluegrass. And I just tend to lean more towards like the bluegrass. If I'm going to lean in the country direction, I lean more towards like a fiddle and a mandolin.
I got you.
Ready? Question 2.
Number 2.
Oh, unexpected musical influence. That's a really good question.
I do like that one.
Yeah.
Because it gets people thinking like, wait, what do I... Like Hunter Pinkstone said Drake. I was like, dude, let's go, man. That's awesome.
God, that's such a good question because it really is everything. Like, everything I listen to. And I know people always say like, I listen to everything.
Oh, it makes me want to throw up when somebody says that.
But
it is true. If it is true, I don't want to hear that.
I know. It's like
come on, give me something here.
I know. It's like I listen to pop, I listen to rap, I listen to musical theater.
You listen to musical theater? That's the one I can't do.
Yeah, I get that a lot. Yeah, I hear that. I was a theater kid in high school.
So was I. Well, middle school. So I think I like reject it. My body rejects it now.
Oh yeah. See, I don't listen to it as much anymore, but for a long time, that's what I was listening to. That's what taught me like how to sing properly.
Yeah.
It's like doing musical theater.
So
if I'm ever warming up before a show, I will sing musical theater because it'll like get you right into like your mixed register.
Hard Knock Life comes on.
Oh my God, Annie. I saw Annie at the Fox once. That's so relevant. Cool. Unexpected musical influence. Back to the question. Honestly, yeah, like country music. Because my music is, I mean, I have that one song that's a little twangy, but other than that, like Bella White, the way she writes her music, and the way she arranges, and God, it's just so good. That album has influenced me a lot.
Yeah.
Also, just like, I don't know, when you need a total like pump up, Rage Against the Machine.
Let's go. Yeah.
It's like it went from one end of the spectrum to another. Does it influence my music? You know, not necessarily, but does it influence my passion for music?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is funny how different genres or artists can influence you in ways that aren't specifically the sound of the music.
Exactly.
Like country, I mean, I've written now a couple songs that are a little more country leaning in sound, but even regardless of those, I feel like country music has taught me about how to write really good lyrics and how to really keep people engaged.
Country music is like that's the art of storytelling.
Yeah.
It's like it's all in country music. And
yeah, it reminds me, Zach, my roommate, he was going on about Morgan Wallen and I forgot who else, and Hardy. Yeah. And he was like, dude, listen to this. And it was this whole thing about like red. I don't know. It's some song called Red. Yeah. It was about like the red, white, and blue. And I don't know, like it hits so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, dude, like I will never listen to this, but like the storytelling part of it was so well crafted.
It's so good.
It's like you can't even argue with it.
It's so good. And kind of on that note, my sister over Christmas break, I don't know how it took me so long to get into Tyler Childers, but
I've never listened to him. Wait, is he got super low voice?
No,
okay.
I think it's a little more high pitched.
Okay,
actually.
I'm thinking of somebody else. Never mind.
But it was over Christmas break, and she was home from school. She goes to school all the way in Montana, which is ridiculous. But
Oh, wow.
yeah. She was home for Christmas, and she was like, you have to listen to Tyler Childers. And I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of him. Never really, I knew it was country, so I wasn't like totally just gonna dive right in.
Yeah.
And she starts playing it over the speakers in our kitchen, and she played Feathered Indians, and I legit started crying.
Oh my God.
Because I was like, this song is so beautiful. Like whoever he wrote this song about, I'm jealous. Like I want someone to write about me in the way he's writing about whoever he's writing about.
Yeah.
Because it was just the most precious song ever, and the way it's all arranged and like the mandolin in it. It's Feathered Indians is a wonderful song.
I'll listen to it today.
Brought me to tears upon first listen. But that's not
huge.
I'm a crier. So.
Oh, okay. You're like, it might not be as hard as we think. Yeah. But still, I mean, a first listen though. Mm-hmm. I don't know if any song on a first listen has made me cry. Because I think it takes like time for a song. It's like the emotion really comes from the attachment to it. Mm-hmm. From like knowing it for a long time and maybe hearing it like in the moment that feels like, oh, I'm in a movie. Oh my God, fuck. Like this song is hitting me now. I don't know. So I guess it depends. It could, maybe if it's the first time and it's like with a music video that really hits home. Right. Something to like give it an extra boost. Yeah. So you would say country music is the unexpected influence? Yeah. Gotcha.
For sure.
That's a good one. Alrighty. Number three.
I really love this format.
Thank you.
Oh, favorite live show you've seen? Oh my gosh. Okay. I think one show that I didn't expect to love as much as I did was seeing Clairo on her Sling tour.
Oh, cool.
Because, I mean, I love that album, but it is...
Which one is Sling? Which one is the album cover?
It's like the brown one where she's like has shorter hair. And she's holding, a dog or a cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that album to pieces. Mm-hmm. I think it's
is that the one Rostam produced? Or maybe he did both. I don't know.
I think it was Jack Antonoff
That's what it was.
Did that album.
Yeah. Rostam did the first one.
Right. That show, I mean, it's a very slow, touchy-feely, kind of mopey album. And I was like, is this show going to feel like sleepy? Like, is it going to be kind of boring? Oh my God. I was so wrong. It was beautiful. And her arrangements, she had like a guitar player, she had guitar, bass, drums, and she was playing piano, going between piano and guitar. And then she had a girl that was backup singing, doing saxophone and flute. Nice. And then she had like another keys, saxophone, clarinet. Like just the way she arranged the whole show was beautiful. And again, brought me to tears because I was like, this is so fucking good. It was just such a great show. It was wonderful. Also,
where was it?
Oh, Tabernacle.
Nice. Of course.
Of course. And I saw the Sean Martin trio at Hendershots last summer in July. And that was fantastic. It was Sean Martin.
What kind of music?
It's kind of jazz and a little like neo soul. Okay. But Sean Martin plays in Snarky Puppy.
Oh, and I saw them long time ago.
They're fantastic.
Insane.
They're actually going to be at the Eastern this Friday.
Really?
Tomorrow. That's tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
I'm trying to go.
Are you?
Yeah.
Dude, have you seen them like the full band?
Yes, I saw them at 420 Fest last year.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did come.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like freakish masters of sound.
Yeah. So it was a trio. It was Sean Martin, Black Dynamite on drums, and God, I forget who's on bass. I'm sorry to whoever was on bass.
Sorry, bassist.
That's
just the way it goes.
But he was
great. The name of the game.
He was so great. That trio, I remember going with a few friends, and we were all just like, holy shit, that's great music. Yeah. And then one more show that I have to shout out was, because now that I brought it up, 420 Fest last year, I saw Oysterhead, and I saw... it was
Oysterhead. I don't know that one.
It was crazy. It was, seeing Les Claypool live is...
He's in that band?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a trip.
So it's super weird.
So it's super weird. And I kind of like am scared of Les Claypool.
Yeah,
I was like...
Willy Wonka type.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to go face my fear and go to this show.
Good for you. Yeah.
Conquer my fear of Les Claypool.
Yeah.
And
we're growing.
It made it worse.
Oh no.
Yeah. He put on a pig mask and like started walking around the stage and put like a echoey boom effect on his mic and started like laughing into the mic. And I was
like, this was a bad idea.
And I was like, this is bad. I think at one point, all my friends were like, "Bea, close your eyes." I think at one point I literally turned around and like, I was like, I can't do this.
So this is a deep-rooted fear.
Yeah, I just like
Claypool.
watched some Primus. I was over at a friend's house and I watched some Primus music videos. They were like, "Watch this." And I was like, I don't care for that at all.
Yeah, no thanks.
No, thank you.
Watching them live is hilarious, just
But
like
that,
on YouTube
but that
videos.
live show, I mean, it was great. The music was fantastic. I was like, just close your eyes. Don't look. Just listen. Just listen. And Trey Anastasio was up there and he's a smiley.
Who?
Trey Anastasio. He's just such a smiley guy. He's just so happy that I was like, just look at Trey. Just look at Trey.
Yeah.
Don't focus on Les Claypool. Just look at Trey. But that show, it was great and wild and probably like the weirdest show I've ever been to.
I love that.
Oh, dream artist, producer to work with.
Is this number 4?
4.
Yeah.
Yep. I would absolutely adore to work with Madison Cunningham. I think she
rocks.
I think she's
so good.
Is a fantastic lyricist. Her writing is so prolific and she's also just such a badass that I think she'd be a dream to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know about her until somebody sent me that new album.
Yeah.
Revealer. Mm-hmm. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yep.
And it's so good.
Her first album is also really great. Somebody sent me Pin It Down like 2 or 3 years ago. And I've been obsessed ever since. She's just, I mean, her like guitar chops are ridiculous. And
her songwriting.
I think she's akin to, like today's Joni Mitchell. Like I think she just has really interesting melodies. And just the way she works is, I think it's great. I
love that song.
Fantastic.
Something from Japan.
Oh, In From Japan.
In From Japan. That song is so good.
Yeah. I feel like she experimented more on this album.
I think that's why I liked it. Cause the other one, I listened to it after and it was just a little too, I don't want to say plain. Cause it's not plain. It's just not as experimental as the new one.
Yeah.
And I thought that's what I really loved about it. Mm-hmm. Like that first song on the new album is insane.
She's great. I saw her at Terminal West back in October.
Cool.
And she also just has such a calming presence. Like she'll play these loud, like big songs and be wailing on the guitar and then it'll end and she'll just be like, "Thank you very much."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, all right. I can rock with you.
Did you like her collab with Remy Wolf?
I liked it because I thought it was unexpected.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 artists that, I didn't
it's
expect.
It's like the yin and yang of indie.
Exactly.
Of indie female artists.
And I'm all for those like indie girls collaborating. Yeah. It was just kind of out of left field. I think I heard it and I was like, whoa, like I didn't know that you two existed kind of like in the same world. Yeah. Like I didn't know you two could be in the same room together. Right. Let alone make music together. So I think it caught me off guard, but I thought it was,
it'd be cool to see them do like a song that is new.
Yeah.
Not like a cover of her own.
Yeah.
But
and I do still like the original better, I will say.
Yeah.
The original.
It's hard to beat the original.
Hard to beat the original. But Remy Wolf is great too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Last one. Perfect album front to back.
Nice.
Ooh, all right.
That means no skips.
No skips.
Some of my favorite albums ever even have like one skip.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think I'm going to go with Dodie's Build a Problem. That
I don't know Dodie. Not Dido?
No.
Okay, Dodie.
Dodie, Dodie. She's an artist from the UK and she started off on YouTube and like, people are like, "Oh, she's a YouTuber." And I'm like, "No, she's more than that."
Which album was it?
Build a Problem.
Build a Problem.
It's her debut album. It is like so raw and delicate and her songwriting is very poignant and very intentional. And she has kind of this B-side to the album that's just a bunch of demos that she did herself, but they're so great. And I mean, it kind of listens like a movie score. She has some songs that are just, like orchestral compositions that she did, and she played with like a 13-piece orchestra. And
wow,
she's incredibly talented. That album is perfect to me. I find myself going back to it all the time. It's just peaceful.
Yeah.
A
good comfort album.
It's a great comfort album.
There's some of my favorite albums ever that are not comfortable to listen to.
Oh yeah.
It's like once every couple of months, and I'm like, all right, that's amazing, perfect, beautiful. But now I'm anxious.
Yeah, that's Phoebe Bridgers' Stranger in the Alps.
Yo, I never listened to that whole one, actually. I've only listened to Punisher all the way through.
Punisher's a hard one to get through, too.
Yeah.
Stranger in the Alps is kind of like rip your heart out and like throw it out the window.
Right.
Like it is, I can't listen to Scott Street anymore. Like
never heard it. I'll listen to that one today.
Oh, see, and that's
crying.
the thing is it's one of my favorite songs of all time. I'm like, this is one of the best songs ever written, and I can't listen to it because it's just like
too much.
It's just way too much. Like if again, like tears, immediately.
Yeah.
And if I come across TikToks that use Scott Street as the audio,
like, nope.
I hold it down and I press like not interested. Show me less of this audio.
Damn.
Because I'm like, I can't like have at 2 p.m. If you're listening.
I don't have the time.
I don't have the time for this.
Mental breakdown.
If I'm
right
ever
now.
on Spotify and like you see in the corner, where you can see like what people are listening to. I'm like, if I'm ever listening to Scott Street,
check on me.
Call me. Something's not right. You better call me right then and there.
Check on your friends when you're listening to Phoebe Bridgers.
Yeah, if I'm ever listening to Stranger in the Alps,
something
text me
terribly wrong.
Call me, be like, stop what you're doing. Yeah.
Let's go get some coffee, girl.
Yeah.
That's
Let
awesome.
me come over. Yeah.
We all have that though. That's how I feel about. Radiohead's my favorite band like ever, maybe next to the Beatles, and they don't have one happy song. Not one.
Not a single.
Not a one.
No.
So,
okay, computer.
Yeah. It's a terrifying, terrifying album. Kid A. It's my probably. I wouldn't say favorite, but In Rainbow is probably my favorite. That one is sad, but not as sad. Maybe that's why that's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's a nice happy medium. But Phoebe Bridgers, not other than Kyoto. Is that what it's called? Kyoto? Yeah. I feel like that's a happy one.
It's an upbeat one.
Upbeat is better.
Yeah. Yeah. I think happy is like a strong word to use for any of her songs.
Yeah, you're probably right in that sense.
But Kyoto, I think she's like talking about her dad.
Oh.
And she's like, I'm not going to repeat the chorus. It's like it's pretty violent.
Right.
But
yeah, it's a little intense, some of her stuff.
But that whole, I love Phoebe though. Like if I ever I'm trying to see Boy Genius live.
Yeah,
this
my
summer.
friend just hit me up about going.
Trying to see Claro, the 2 there.
Right.
Just, if you can go see both in once.
And Dijon,
you kill 3 birds with 1 stone.
I saw Dijon open for Bon Iver last year.
I bet it
was awesome.
I bet that was a
at
show.
Chastain.
Ooh.
Bon Iver was one of the best shows I've ever seen. And I'm not even like I really like Bon Iver, but I wouldn't put him in my top 5 or even top 10.
Yeah.
But that was one of the best shows I've ever seen.
What'd you like about it?
It was like watching an alien transmission. They were set up in these weird light fixtures, like each band member.
Right.
And it just looked like they were beamed down from an alien spaceship to play these tunes. They were so tight. The songs were I love the more experimental stuff like from 22 Million on. Right. I like the stuff before it too, but when they played those like weirder ones with the crazy samples, like they still hit it perfectly. Yeah. Because those songs can be, I would imagine, pretty hard to replicate live. But it didn't seem like it to them. Like they had it down to a science. They had I feel like they had these lights on their heads too. I was like, what's happening? It was also freezing. It was like April, so everybody thought it was going to be warm, and it was literally like 35 degrees.
Oh, geez.
It was just a cold snap. Yeah, it was a cold snap, and it was outdoors.
Oh, God.
So everybody was freezing together. And also somebody in the men's bathroom put a sticker on the air dryer or the paper towel thing that said, "This is voice activated. Say paper towel," to get the paper towel. Total lie. And like we all witnessed some guy be like, "Paper towel." Paper towel, saying it to the thing. And he was like, "This son of a bitch just got me." He's laughing somewhere. So like that just added to the whole experience.
Oh my God, that's incredible. Like I'm
one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I would have lost my mind.
Yeah. And of course everybody is like not paying attention. We're all just like looking down or looking at our phones in the bathroom. Yeah. And then you hear paper towel, like somebody saying it 3 times. We're like, what's going on?
They're probably like getting louder each time. Paper towel.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to find those stickers.
Yeah, it was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing.
One thing I will say about the lights is if a show has a good lighting setup. Huge. I just saw Goose at Georgia Theater.
Oh yeah.
Their light show, out of this world.
Really?
Fantastic. Added to the experience tenfold. I was like, God damn, these lights. This is incredible.
Yeah, it takes it to a different level.
And of course they're fantastic. You know, I
never heard of them until they came here, and all of a sudden everybody's wearing their merch.
Yeah, dude. Gotta get on it.
There's also another band called Geese.
Geese?
Yeah. So
I don't know
Goose
Geese.
And Geese. Well, there you go. So the plural is, I don't know. I don't really love them. They're weird, but I just assumed it was the same band. I was like, all these people going to see Geese. That's weird. And then I realized it was Goose.
Goose. Yeah.
And I think, what kind of music are they?
Jam
band. Yeah. So not quite the same.
Yeah.
Which makes a little more sense for Athens. Everybody loves jam bands.
Yeah.
But cool. Hey, let's wrap it up. Bea Porges. I think we did like an hour, 20 minutes or something like that.
Oh man.
Which is great.
Is that on par with the rest of the episodes?
I think that I keep them between an hour to an hour 15 usually, sometimes less than an hour.
Yeah.
But I think the longest up until maybe now, I'm not sure. You like just passed hour 17.
Wow.
And I think Hunter Pinkstone was the other longest. That was like an hour 15. So
wow.
We just beat it. Take that, Hunter.
Take that, Hunter. Double battle at Terminal West.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Battle of the Bands.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yes.
Bea Porges, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. So honored to be here.
Of course, everybody needs to listen to Stateside.
Yes, go
all day
listen to Stateside all day long.
Come out June 17th to Athens and Atlanta at the Terminal West, and also AthFest on Friday,
June 23rd at 5:35
at the Hull stage, right?
At the Hull stage.
Cool. Hell yeah. Well, Bea, thanks again for coming on. It's been a blast.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Talk to you soon.
'Cause all day long, I think about loving.
Thank you again for tuning into the newest episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. Remember, not only can you listen to the episodes on Apple Podcast and Spotify, but you can also watch the episodes on my YouTube channel, which is linked in the description below. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time.